Good morning, everybody. Today is March 27th. The time is 9 a.m. and I'm calling this Facilities Committee meeting to order. All committee members are present and I need an approval of the agenda.
Motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. 4-0. I need a motion to approve the meeting minutes.
Motion to approve the minutes from our last meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. 4-0. Mrs. Brown, paving bids?
Yes, ma'am. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
We received from 4 different bidders for 7 schools, as noted in their documentation in front of you, various paving and renovation projects at each of those schools. The lowest responsible bidder was Huck's Contracting LLC, and we recommend award of the contract to Huck's by the Facilities Committee and for further approval by the board.
Kathy, I have a question about your chart on the first page. I want to make sure I'm clear on this. You have 3 items that show savings, and then you show the remaining bid amount and budget amount. And the bid amounts are lower than budget, but I assume you are not calling those savings because there are other phases to paving projects at that school, so it can't be determined yet if it's going to be an overall savings. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. Is there any way of knowing if that bid for that particular phase of the total project is ahead? Is below budget or above budget? Does that make sense?
Danny?
Let me ask that a different way. Let's look at Stallings Elementary. We have a total budget of $231.50.
Right.
The bid amount is $105,990. So I'm assuming there's another phase or phases of projects. So this is Stallings Elementary School repaving phase 1. Is that fair?
Yes, but that is the total bid amount, and it fell under what was budgeted and expected.
Okay. So that difference should be a savings as well?
Yes, that would fall into the savings category. So we had a certain amount budgeted. Bids came in under what we had budgeted, and that represents just for that particular project a savings.
All right. So at Piedmont High School, you've got a bid amount of $155,850. And then you've got $96,500 savings. So that project, that phase or that project, those are the savings. So all of these projects, except for the first one, which is break even, are all coming under budget.
No, I don't think that's,
Yep.
I don't think
Gary, I
that's
think the savings is where they're getting the extra money from.
right. So like
You're
Sandy
looking at it
Ridge,
backwards.
All
right, Sandy Ridge, the bid amount was 76,880. The budget was 0. So how they're paying for it is out of previous savings.
FY24 expansions and renovations.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Does.
But then on the others where we're under, that'll
Mhm.
help future projects.
Correct.
Yes.
Okay. Any other questions? Need a motion to send this to the full board?
Motion to recommend approval to the full board.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
On-
thank you.
on the consent agenda. I
Yes,
assume as well. Okay.
Okay, informational items, bond update, Mrs. Brown?
Yes, ma'am. Both projects at East School and Forest Hills are on schedule and within budget. East Elementary continuing to pour the last bit of footings. Structural steel is nearly complete, and continuing the rough ends for masonry, mechanical, electrical, and plumbing. Forest Hills, as you can see in front of you, we've taken care of paving the visitor parking. Steelwork in the classroom area is complete. We're doing some spray fireproofing. CTE area rough ends are in progress. So everything is moving again on schedule and within budget. Any other
Boy, the
questions?
high
Hey,
school's
Colin, can
really
we schedule a visit to those schools? Maybe, I don't know if that's considered a walk-in at this point, but a walkthrough or maybe just a site visit?
Absolutely, be glad to do that. Excuse me. Yeah, we can get that scheduled. It will be a hard hat. We call it a hard hat tour, but yes, we can get that. We can get that scheduled for facilities committee members.
be sure and wear your work boots. Look at all that
Yeah.
dirt, boy. If it's any rain at all, it's going to be a mud bath.
They've actually
Any
done a really
other-
good job of waterproofing the site, being ready for
Oh.
days like today, and having if it's like pouring mud mats and footings and those kind of things, having stone out there. They've done a really good job of preparing for the rain. Both sites.
That's great.
Forest Hills.
Any
looks
other
like it's
questions?
Really? Well, I was just going to comment. Really looks like Forest Hills is really moving.
It is. Yep. Really good progress in both schools.
Construction update, Mr. McManus?
Yes, good morning, everyone. In front of you, I have a very simple construction update as far as some HVAC projects. I think they're self-explanatory, but happy to answer any questions that you may have, or at least attempt to do so.
And it's not listed on here. Do we have any update on Piedmont? The little concession stand?
Yeah, I can answer for that, Danny. Yeah, we've authorized the architect. He is in the, we met with him, Kathy, 2 weeks ago
Yes.
and gave them their proceeding. And yeah, I don't have an update on how far along they are on design, but they are progressing with design. We expect to
very good,
have
thanks.
something in the next 4 to 5 weeks at the latest.
Do we still anticipate that being ready for next football season?
I don't know that it'll
Time.
be ready for the beginning of football season, but we feel like it can be. Again, it depends on permitting approvals from DPI, and those are the factors that are kind of unknown. Those can sometimes take a week, sometimes they can take 3 or 4 months. So we're
Gotcha.
trying to communicate with them as best we can and started the dialogue already. So we feel like it'll be open during football season. I just don't know what part of football season.
I know some of the chatter I'm hearing is up on the hill where I think we had anticipated moving it to. Power lines may force us to go back to the bottom. Is that where?
No, we've already
we
made
at
a
with that?
decision to go back to we're on the bottom. We're down outside, not far from where the original one was.
Kind of where the gate is.
Yes, it'll be adjacent to the
Okay.
gate.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Is that going to be a problem when the season starts as far as keeping it roped off, or is it going to
No,
affect
we will
people?
make that part of the contract with the contractor to make sure they've got it safe and in a condition where we can have access to the stadium.
Okay. Any other questions?
No, ma'am.
Change order update, Mr. McManus?
Yes, so one change order update for our fire equipment inspections. It is a requirement from an insurance carrier, and happy to answer any questions if you'll have them.
Danny, if this is a quarterly event, have you talked with Shauna about including that in the budget moving forward?
We have when finance and when we met earlier on in the spring, as far as budget, this was brought up as far as any increases.
Now, is this a firing equipment test at all of our schools or where? I mean, we have sprinkler systems in all our schools.
We do not have sprinkler systems in all of our schools, but
Really?
what
Oh.
that do have them, this is where it is taking place.
So it's the older schools that don't have them, I assume.
for the most part, sure.
When it's an older school and you do something like we did at, let's say, Benton Heights and added a new auditorium or redid it, do you have to go back and or at least include a sprinkler system for that part of the facility? You know, once you touch it, you got to bring it up.
Once you touch it, you do have to bring it up, but I have to give you the answer that I don't like from engineers and architects. It all depends. It all depends on the square footage, the type
Okay.
of firewalls that you have, et cetera, whether you have to
Okay.
sprinkle or not.
Okay. But this
And Colin, you
37.5,
presented the other day, we did not have any change orders on the new constructions as of yet.
As of right now, we don't. Everything we've dealt with, we've dealt with through allowances and contingencies that are in the contractor's contract.
man,
That's
that's
amazing. Very good.
yeah, it
Yeah.
really is.
All right, any other questions?
No, ma'am.
All right, our next meeting is April 24th. I need a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
4-0. Thank you, everybody.